Bob, are you wearing a shirt you shouldn't be wearing?
What do you mean?
What is that shirt?
It's my shirt. I got a project going on.
Hey guys.
I'm Bob.
I'm Barb. Together we make up
HetteshWorld.
You better explain right now you're wearing that shirt.
We're going to talk about RV windows and the repairs we're going to do on one today. 3 styles of windows that are in our RV, and only one of them gives us trouble. Is it this style window? I don't think so. Is it this style window, this egress window? Don't think so. It's the cranked style that cranks your arm out. I believe these are Lippert 3000 series windows. And the way these are built, they've got a factory rivet system. That point, this point, and I'll show you on the inside, and this point back here. And these are like a pinch rivet. And what happens is that rivet over time, because you're closing this and you're putting tension on it because you don't want the window to open when you're going down the road, because this is vibrating. Next thing you know, you get to your spot and the window's opened up a little bit.
Yep, and that's really, really bad.
And here's the reason why. When you go to close it, this thing pops up. As you can see, this thing pops up. This has got a little screw down here which holds this in place. It's got a knurled end that accepts this. And you can replace these. I searched these. These are like $40 a piece because it comes with this and the arm. So I was trying to think of a way that we can actually fix these
without spending $40 and buying new arms.
Yeah, because we have exactly 11 of these windows in the camper.
Yep.
On these particular style. So what happens is this cap will work its way loose, and I'll show you. So the cap will come up. It's got a little bit of lithium grease in it. It's got a worm gear that comes up. Then you got your 2 arms that hold the mechanism. If you look on this right here, you'll see a rivet, some type of rivet. I'm not sure what Lippert uses, but it's some kind of pinch rivet. It's not a typical rivet. And then you got a rivet back here, and you got these right here. These all ride inside this case. This worm gear rides in here. These 2 bump outs here ride inside of here, so they spin as your window's opening and closed. The goal is to be able to reclamp this back into place. So when you crank the window down tight, this doesn't lift up and then come ajarred, and it allows your window to come open and close. Plus, when you're just putting the window sometimes open and close, this thing will pop up and lift up, and you got to constantly push it down. And what I used to do, I'd put it on there, and I would take a punch.
Like this?
Yep, no, not that kind of punch. But I would take a punch and I'd put it on here, and I would mushroom that back out. That would mushroom this back into this spot here, and it would hold down for a little bit. But there's not enough metal sticking out for it to actually hold anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a rivet in there. I bought these on Amazon. These are actually black rivets. These are 1/8 aluminum, 1/2 inch. So when these are on here, this will go on here, this will come down through here once I drill it, and we'll pop these 3. I'm not going to mess with these here. I'm going to leave them go. They can rotate inside of this cap here. I'm not going to mess with them. We're going to center punch that, center punch these. If you take this cap off and you got a little bit sticking up here, you can just cut it off so it's flush enough to where this cap will go back on. I'm going to get a little white lithium grease right here. You can get it in jars, little tubes. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this cap back on. And according to how much you got that spaced out, you can, I'm going to tap this back on here a little bit. Before I do anything else, I just want to make sure the window is operating before I do any kind of rivets. So that's how the window works. You got that worm gear, it controls these two arms. And I'm holding this down in here because those rivets are no longer holding. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put just a little bit of tape to hold that. I'm going to put a piece of tape on top of this just to protect that metal so it doesn't get tore up, because I'm going to have to drill. And I'm probably going to have to drill one of these at a time. So what I'm going to do right here is gently just pop a little dent in there so that drill bit will center itself. We're going to drill through these. Now we want to drill these two out front here. If no one knows what a rivet is, these are different sizes. So this is an 1/8 inch. That's the size of the shank here, the shaft. It's got a ball on it, so when it goes through a hole, when you go to draw on the rivet, so you'll put it in the rivet gun. The rivet gun has got jaws in here. It'll grab that shaft, it'll pull on it, it'll pull that ball forward, tighten it in the hole. You want this to be exposed all the way through, and that will cause this to draw it up tight.
I feel like we're shooting a porno here with all the words you're using.
Yeah, we're going to draw this up. That protrudes all the way through. In fact, I'm going to give it just a little bit of a tap with the hammer. See, that ball is sticking all the way through. So we're going to draw this one up. Lastly, we're going to take the third one, feed it in the gun. I got to work it all the way down. And of course it doesn't want to go, so I'm going to have to re-drill this. Touch that hole up a little bit. It's a little misaligned. We'll put our rivet back in the gun. Push it all the way down. I'll give it a slight tap. Just make sure it's buried all the way. And we'll draw this one in. So what that does, it pulls so hard on that shaft that it snaps it off after it pulls that ball up through that separation. Or I'll show you. Let me get a rubber rivet. I bought these from Amazon. It was like $15, a sorted bag, and they came all messed up. So this is a 3/8, but this one's a little easier to see. So you drill, the hole goes down through here. As you pull with the rivet gun, it pulls that ball up through there. That pulls up in that hole, and that swells up. That causes that rivet to hold tight. So that's what it's doing.
So the lithium grease we already had on hand. The rivet gun we already had on hand, right?
Yeah.
We bought that in the beginning because we thought it would be useful since there's a lot of rivets in a camper.
Yeah, we've got different rivets and stuff. You can draw that as tight as you want now.
Yeah, without it snapping off.
And it doesn't push. It actually pulls the window tight, and it doesn't lift up on that cap. And you can put this little knurled thing. You can set this. You know, after you put the screw, you can set it if you want it there. You can set it. I normally like to have them squared off like that, and the screw will go back in there.
It makes it easier to put the screen back on as well if it's not in the way.
And that window's
done.
That window's done. So we got 10 more to do.
So I will list this box. We don't have an Amazon store, but I will just list this box as a link in case you guys need rivets.
Yeah, as you can see.
And I'll even do our rivet gun.
Yeah, as you can see, it comes with all different sizes. Even if you'd ever had to drill this out and change this whole thing, or to pull this window out like I did on the one that was leaking on our earlier video, you could drill it out, and you got these bigger 3/8 size that will fill that hole back in. And So $16. I've used these rivets all over the camper. I mean, some people will actually anchor photos and stuff with, but I didn't want nothing permanent, so
Nope.
we still use
The old Velcro.
the Velcro or the what do you call it, command strips.
Yeah.
We use the command strips a lot.
I mean, this here's got Velcro on it, and this one here's got Velcro on it, and it's never fallen down in 4 years.
We had 11 windows that need to be repaired. We actually only needed 7 repaired because the ones in the living room were actually the new style Lippert cranks. So those do not have any type of rivet. They're the clamshell. I guess they make them in a mold, so you don't have to rivet those together. But if you do have the older style riveted type, and you don't want to re-drill them out and put rivets in, you can buy that new style clamp and replace the old style with the new style, and they're anywhere from $40 to about $90 on the interwebs.
So I was the primary breaker of the windows because I would try to tighten them down so they wouldn't open because I didn't want any bugs coming in. Who knew the strength that I had?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know if other people's had problems with those windows. I believe they're Lippert Series 3000 windows, and this camper's a 21, so they may have made changes since then. I don't know, but it seems like it's an issue, and I had not found any videos on YouTube except for replacing the whole thing, and I found that to be like $42 for that arm. And if you can buy, if you only bought just the 1/8 rivets, you could, for like $5-6, you could buy enough rivets to do your whole entire camper and never have to worry about an issue again. And if it did ever break again, it's aluminum. You just drill it out, pop a new one in there, and pop it on, and you're done.
I mean, just like his shirt says, if Bob can't fix it, we're all screwed.
Yep.
Thanks, honey. So give this video a thumbs up. We want to provide information, education, and entertaining. Follow our travel blog on this as well. Smash up that notification bell. Bob wants you to.
Give us your comments. Let us know if you ever had problems with your windows with cranks. To me, they remind me of the old 1960s cranked windows I had as a kid.
Yeah.
And my dad used to cuss all the time because they were always stripped out. So Lippert hopefully updated something since 2021 when this camper was built.
So guys, remember, we're HetteshWorld.
Come travel in our incredible world.
Bye.